Okay, welcome back. So the next part of 3.1 that I want to talk about is standard form of a linear equation. There's some famous forms for linear equations. I'm sure you remember slope-intercept form. You may remember standard form. It's not quite as popular, but it's still useful for a certain thing. So standard form of a linear equation is this: AXB plus BY equals C. This is, when we see this, the X and Y are still gonna be variables, but you'll notice that A and B and C are gonna be numbers, okay? Now, this is so useful for finding the X and the Y intercept. Since this is a linear equation or a line, the X and Y, the X intercept is wherever the line will cross the X or horizontal axis, and the Y intercept is wherever the line will cross the Y axis. Is there always an X intercept? Think about it. Lines go forever in both directions, right? Forever and ever. So does a line always have an X intercept, or does it always have a Y intercept? I wonder. Let's think about that. But there's some stipulations about standard form. We like to keep it organized, I guess. But when we're in standard form, the X term goes first, followed by the Y term equal to the number. And we like it when you clear all the fractions, okay? Remember, we do that by multiplying by the lowest common denominator. We like it when you divide by the GCF so that it's in its most simplified term, okay? And for some reason, I don't really know about this one, but we like A to be positive. So if A is negative, you can just multiply both sides of the equation by -1, and that would change the A term to be positive, but it changed the other signs. But for some reason, someone said, hey, let's make A positive all the time. I don't know what the real benefit of that. But this is definitely, once you have this form, it's definitely good because it's so easy to find the X and Y intercept. And if you know where a line crosses the X-axis and the Y-axis, you can graph it very easily. You know a lot about that line. All right, so real quickly, I want to talk about X and Y intercepts. So I'm going to erase this. I hope you got it down. All right. To find the X-intercept, replace Y with 0 and solve for X. To find the Y-intercept, what do you think? What do you think we're going to do? Yeah. Replace X with 0 and solve for Y. Okay. All right. So I guess I don't have to wait for you to write it down because I can just press pause. I'm used to waiting for teaching in real life, but now I'm just going to erase it. Okay? All right. Let's try an example. All right. So this is an equation, a linear equation, 3x plus 5y equals 15. Now this one happens to already be in standard form, which is really nice because it's so easy to find the x and y intercepts. But the next example that we do won't be in standard form, but we'll put it in standard form. Notice there's no fractions, a is positive, there's no GCF that can divide everything by, Okay, so let's find the x-intercept by replacing y with 0. So if I did that, let's find the x-intercept, it would be 3x plus 5 times 0 equals 15. So the reason that standard form is so handy is because what's in that form, and I replace y with 0, this y term is just going to go away. And 3x will equal 15. And then you can pretty easily tell by dividing by 3 on both sides that the x-intercept is going to be 5. So x equals 5, and the best way to write that intercept is 5, 0, okay? There's the x-intercept. Notice no matter where the x-intercept is, the y will always be 0. Now the y-intercept. The y-intercept, okay. So for the y-intercept, we're going to replace x with 0. So that would be 3 times 0 plus 5y equals 15, okay? So let's see, this time, again, standard form makes one of the terms go away completely, so it's super easy to solve. So the x term goes away, and I'm left with 5y equals 15. Now, if I divide by 5, y equals 3, okay? So my x-intercept is, my y-intercept is 0, 3. All right, now I know where the lines cross the x and y axis. It makes it so easy to graph. I'm going to graph it right up here. So my point 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right there. And my point 03, 1, 2, 3 is right here. And there's our line. Look at that. We graphed the line. We found the intercepts. I want to point something out. This is the x-intercept because it crosses the y-axis. It crosses the x-axis, right? This is the x-intercept. Now, why is it that when we find the x-intercept, we replace the y with 0? This is super cool and super important. So wherever I'm at on the x-axis, wherever I'm at, tell me, what is the y-coordinate all the time? Wherever you're at, what is the y-coordinate when you're on the x-axis? What is it? I'm going to pause. Yeah, it's 0. So that's why, to find the x-intercept, you replace y with 0. Now, similarly, on the y-axis, whenever you're on the y-axis, what's the value of x? No matter where you are, you can go all the way up there, all the way down here. When you're on the y-axis, what's the value of x? Always 0. So that's why to find the x-intercept, you replace y with 0. To find the y-intercept, you replace x with 0. Okay, we're going to do one more, but this one I'm going to make it a little trickier because you're going to have to put it into standard form. Let me pick a good one, okay? All right. I think I found it. Yep. Here it is. Let's do 2y equals 3 minus 1/2 x. Why is this not in standard form? We're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to find the x and y intercepts, and we're going to graph it. But the first thing we need to do is get it into standard form. It'll make our job easier. So, I want you to notice, is the x on the correct side of the equation? It is not. We need to move it over to the left. So if I have minus 1/2 x and I want to move it, I'm going to add 1/2 x. So now I have 1/2 x plus 2y equals 3. It's still not in standard form, is it? But it's pretty easy fix from here. All I have to do is get rid of all the fractions. So The lowest common denominator of all the fractions is 2. So I'm going to multiply everything on both sides of the equation by 2. Multiply left by 2, right by 2. 2 times 1 divided by 2 would just be x, plus 2 times 2y is 4y equals 6. Okay, now we've got standard form. My a is positive, no fractions, no common factor to divide by, so it's simplified, it's looking great. Now, once you get good with the equations in standard form, you can find the x and y-intercept just mentally. I mean, that's how easy it is. So to find the x-intercept, we're going to replace y with 0. Let's see if we can do it mentally this time. So for the x-intercept, we replace y with 0, and that term goes away, right? This term will just completely go away. And if that term goes away, let me see if I can hide it. What is x equal to? X is equal to 6. So my x-coordinate is 6, 0, right? Now, to find the y-intercept, I'm going to replace x with 0. This one's going to be a little harder, but look. If the x term is 0 and it goes away completely, 4y is equal to 6, and how would we get y by itself? We would divide both sides by 4, right? And then y would equal 6 over 4, and 6 over 4 simplifies to 3 over 2. Now, if you want me to write all this, tell me to pause. I'm going to stop and write it out, but let's see if we can't visualize it. So x term is going to go away. We have 4y equals 6. Divide by 4y equals 6 over 4. So my y-intercept is going to be 0, comma 6 over 4, which simplifies to 3 over 2. Okay? Now we've got the x-intercept, we've got the y-intercept. My x-intercept is 6 spaces to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my y-intercept is 3/2 up. So we go up 1, 2, 3/2 would be 1.5. 3/2 is right here. And we have our line. We have our 2 intercepts. You know, you can graph any line with just 2 points. But having the 2 intercepts is cool. I like having the 2 intercepts. It gives you a good reference of how the line will look. Okay, I'm gonna put one up here for you to try, but that's gonna be the end of this video. Thank you, thank you. I look forward to the next one.